Okay then, everybody, welcome to XLR. We've got the ninth round of the season today, I believe, for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Once we get into the lobby, it will be full qualifying ahead of the drivers. We've got 19 for qualifying, but we should have the full 20 when the race starts. We are just getting underway. Just loading into the qualifying session now. And it's a full 18 minutes of qualifying today. It should be fine. Plan's on his way out. I think he's the only one at this stage. So we shall see the Plan on the track shortly. Out goes the AlphaTauri driver and into that pit lane. And now he gets onto the track and underway for the first action of this Q1 session. I've just realised I've got Discord audio muted. Let me change that. Yeah, Plan's on his way out.
I think round here you'd want to get round before the track becomes really busy. It's not like a very open circuit, is it?
But then also, people want toes.
That's true.
You need to remember the levels they went to in 2019. I have just practically stopped on the track waiting for each other, so much that none of them made the end of qualifying. So anyway, we do have a few drivers coming out onto the circuit now. But it is Plan who's heading into the Ascari. He's going through Ascari into the Parabolica of turn 11, and then he will be underway for the first competitive lap, or first flying lap of Q1. As he puts on the power and away he goes. As into turn 1 goes the AlphaTauri. Just goes barreling down, hitting speed 354 kilometers an hour into that first corner. Gets it turned in, back on the power as soon as he can, because it's yet another long section of just foot to the floor from here. Little Williams getting out of his way. That would have been Jamie Cash, I believe. It's a 26.4 in the first section from Plan. He comes into 4 and 5 now, back on the power again. Then up ahead of him is the two Lesmo curves of 6 and 7. Gets a bit out of shape on the rear of the car, but it shouldn't have cost him too much time. Now he gets back underway for that run down into turn 8 and the Ascari chicane under the old piece of the bank circuit back from the 1960s. He gets it flicked in again. On the curb. Very out of shape, but he still managed to keep it in a straight line. It's quite impressive car control there from Plan to keep that going. But just one more corner to go for the AlphaTauri driver. It's on the power now. Cutting it right to the inside and up to the line he goes for a 1 minute 20.406 as the first time of Q1. Then next up will be his AlphaTauri reserve teammate of Jamie Dodge, coming around the final corner as well. Back on the power, up to the line goes the AlphaTauri, who can manage a 20.6, but that was done on the medium tyres, so the time would be a bit faster than that. Then I believe it's Power GT in the Parabolica hairpin now, as he comes up to the line in his Williams.
I thought someone was around.
20.1 for Power GT there. We've got just a rocky beginning of lap. Stefan with a 1 minute 20.1 for the fastest time so far, barely beating up Power GT there. Then just a few cars beginning laps. Then it's the Mercedes of Fuzzle in the final corner. Comes up to the line. That's a 1 minute 20.2 from the Mercedes. Not bad at all, some of these first runs. D10 in that final corner now is not deploying ERS on this lap, so I think he's just going again.
Yep.
And next is
Just
Jamie
getting ready
Cash on his way into the parabolic, and now
we're into 126 flat, so he's going to go for a full push now, I believe.
yeah. Jamie Cash goes up to the line. He can only match at 20.7. That was on the soft tyres as well. Now it's Petterflat. He's on an outlap. Then L Plan on his way into the pit lane. Then it's the House of Untos up to the line. Goes in P4, also on a 20.2. Not far behind Fuzzle there. But he is also on the softer compound. Rocky next to the line in the McLaren car. Goes into P7, 120.8. That's not ideal for him, especially for a soft run. Luther Blade goes to the top of the time sheets with a 119.9. As that first time up is beaten quite quickly by Martinez with a 19.5. Last race's race winner here. Quite a dominant one in Silverstone. It was for him. And that, I think Petterflat's the furthest around an active lap at this stage. Someone jumped up the order then. Possibly D10. Yes, it was. He went into P2 on a 19.7. It's not bad at all, especially considering it's on that medium compound. Now Petterflat in that final corner now goes a bit wide onto the runoff, but it keeps it going. Keeps it within the white lines just about and up to the line for the Aston Martin. It's only P10. But he did also do that on the medium tyre, so there will be more time in that car.
D10 on those medium compounds.
Yeah, that is a really strong lap for it.
Now it should see him through.
Yeah, most likely will. And that's a second run of those tyres as well. So
yeah. I find that the tyres always come in more into place in the second run.
But then they aren't quite as fresh as they were. But that first lap wouldn't have been wasn't nearly a full push. Fuzzle is a tiny bit up on his time, but just under a 10th. So to see him to a 20.1 would gain him a fair bit of time, but not any ground on the leaderboard then. But I think he is the furthest around a lap at this stage. Indeed, he is, just as Mr. Business begins his first lap. Winning quite dominantly in Tier 2 last night. And here comes Fuzzle. He does jump up to P4 with a 2/10 improvement. That will probably get him through. So it was a really impressive race. 2 weeks ago it would have been from Fuzzle in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, 10 sports rounds!
Oh, he's out! He's gone into...
Oh, that's a bad crash.
Yeah, that's Lesmo 2.
Yeah, he just lost it there. Just caught a bit of the gravel and just gone into
yeah. Was that a tank slapper into the outside wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked nasty from what I saw.
That was very unfortunate. The D10's going again.
So it's because we got that lovely wheel cam hot lap from Techie yesterday for the Instagram, and now today we see him in the barriers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, not quite the qualifying result he would have hoped for.
It's unfortunate for Techie. I mean,
yeah,
he's going really fast during his lap, but
yes,
these things happen, and points aren't won in qualifying.
Yeah.
Points aren't won in qualifying.
First you have to finish. But that's a good lap from Mr. Business with the 119.9.
Yeah,
not bad at all.
And D10 pulls into the pit
with just that lap. Although if everyone else does soft runs, then maybe they'll begin to challenge him. Just have to wait and see with that one. Fuzzle on his way in. Then it's the Aston Martin and Stefan just beginning a lap. Shako's still waiting in the pit lane. Although he typically does go quite a while before his first lap. But he just risks, like, if he gets blocked or if just something happens on his one lap, then that could be him out. El Plan with an 0.8 improvement onto a 19.5. Then it's the Aston Martin of Petter Flat into P7 with a 20.0. Narrowly behind Fuzzle by 8 thousandths of a second. Very close margin through this field so far. Jack Imac, the reigning champion, just about to begin a lap now. And off goes the Ferrari driver. And then, I believe it'd be Jamie Cash, he's just beginning a flyer. And then it's Liam Walder also beginning one. I believe he is the current championship leader. Our two-time champion. As I think Rocky is
in for a good chance this season.
Yeah, he's had really poor luck in the previous two races. Spun round on the opening lap both times in Saudi Arabia and Silverstone. So that he had I think he had about a 20-point advantage before then, and now he'll be about 20 points behind, which really is not what he would have wanted for his season. It felt like he was getting a bit more luck, but as soon as he did, it just went away again. Half a second improvement from Rocky is only enough for P13. Zakis Beast, about 8 seconds up on his previous unrepresentative time. So he comes around the final corner, and now just up to the line he goes. And he improved by 10 seconds, but can only get barely off the bottom by only about a 1/10 of a second there. It's not looking ideal then for Zakis Beast, as Shakos does come out onto the circuit. There's a jump up the field there for Jack Imac, going into it with a 99.
Liam goes P3. That's a very, very good lap on those mediums.
Yeah, he's barely down on Martinez. And he did that on mediums too. But watch out for Sus Among Us in this final sector now. Just heading towards the Parabolica. There's the Red Bull. I believe that'd be Mr. Business on a lap at the moment. Yeah, he just comes into the pit lane. So it is Sus Among Us in the final corner, on his way up to the line for his first lap of Q1. And he puts it to the top of the timing sheets, a 1:19.3. That was done on the soft tyres, but still an impressive lap nonetheless. Then Luke the Blade not improving on his way into the pit lane. And then Zakis Beast, I believe that is, he's out of fuel, he'll be on his way in. And I don't think we have any timed runs going on at the moment. Shackles is on an out lap. Oh, actually there is a lap at the moment from Jamie Cash, about 2.5 tenths up, which would only see him ahead of Zakis Beast, would see him to around a 0.5. And he wouldn't be able to get himself out of that drop zone, although he's backed off anyway. Yeah, here goes Shakos. He's the only driver going to be on a push lap at this stage. Jamie Cash doesn't have the fuel to go again, and Sus Among Us neither.
We'll have to see what he can do in turn one. Probably one of the most important corners in the whole circuit.
Yeah, but at the same time, like...
Yeah, but if you get it right and spot on, then there's lots of time to gain in that corner.
But then there's the entire rest of the track to regain that at that time if you don't have to. But Shakos, he's the only driver pushing on this circuit at this stage. It's a 26.2 in that first sector. He's not taking too many risks at this stage, but at the same time, he does need a good lap to get himself out of Q1, with how close this field is as well. Actually, just looking at it, from Mr. Business down to Jamie Dodge is 2 tenths. Just a bit out of shape through the Lesmos there by the looks of things. I'll see a bit geeking about on the timing sheets. It's a 52.7 in that middle sector. It's looking like a very solid lap from Shackles this far. He's getting a bit of a distant toe from that Alpha Tauri ahead of him. I believe that is Jamie Dodge just on an out lap, but Shackles coming around that final corner. He gets back on the power, around the final corner and up to the line. And he goes fast with a
Oh.
19.0 to put his Haskell 3/10 clear of everyone else. That is the sort of thing we've come to expect from the Haas driver this season. To really come into his own on this F123 game.
Yeah, Shafkos is
He's definitely
definitely very
missed a
fast.
Saturday.
Well, if he's got the pace in Sunday. I mean, what he did round
Yeah.
Silverstone last week to recover that drive was incredible. He's very
He's
fast.
definitely the best qualifier. Martinez
I
retires
think
from the session in P3.
I think he's the fastest driver.
Yeah, quite
Mm.
possibly. I'm not sure if Jamie Dodge is pushing or not, because he seems to be going... Yeah, no, it's backed off.
It's normally his racecraft or luck that lets him down.
Yeah. Intel's a tiny bit up at this stage, getting a massive toe from his teammate. So they go, way too much curb. And Chaco's out!
Shafkos is out. Yes, he went straight on after his teammate was
gave his
behind
teammate
him
a toe.
and straight into the barrier.
So Chacos will be 15th at best in qualifying. Because even if he gets through,
Well,
even if he
will
gets
be
through, he won't be able
15th.
to take part in Q2.
Yep.
Well, that's just as we were saying. Just praising Shackles, and then he just goes straight into a barrier.
It's unfortunate for Shafkos.
And he just goes from the fastest time, and the game's dropped him down to P15. Like, he'll get through, but he'll be starting 15th then.
If he doesn't get through, then there's something wrong.
I suddenly thought that he'd be on the edge from the fact that the game showed him 15th, and then I noticed that he's a second faster than the cars around him.
Yeah. It's not, they're going to be like, oh, okay, that's a bad here, can you go? And then you just look at the time.
Yeah, like, look the blade down to Jamie Dodge is 2.5 tenths of a second for 10 positions.
On 10 something with Jamie Dodge, though.
Yeah, he'll get himself through
On for a
with
sky.
that.
Did that very nicely.
Getting a toe from the Red Bull of, I believe that'd be Mr. Business. Although no, it was Luke the Blade. But Jamie Dodge
Right,
coming round the final corner.
Shortly, I'll just
Jump up the order there for quite a few cars. But Jamie Dodge goes into P2. A 1:19.3, that's a very strong lap. So it was Sweatback Flame that gained those positions there up the field. Header flat coming around the final corner now. In his Aston Martin, where can he put himself? And he goes into P3 with a 19.4. And the Haas of Untos, I think, is just beginning a lap. Yes, he is. Jamie Cash in the final corner, 6/10 up through that middle sector. This could be quite a strong lap from Jamie Cash, although I don't think it'll be enough to get him through. But he does go into P14. So, if that is a good lap from the Williams driver, he is through at this stage. So, but he's actually only P15. It shows him 14th because of a lobby bug, but he's actually 15th then. So he is right on the edge. And now with Stefan coming around the final corner, the checker flag's fallen. So that is the best they can do. Stefan jumps up the field, and that is Jamie Cash knocked out in Q1. Then Rocky also goes into P13 and pushes Jack Imac into the drop zone, who's only 2.5 tenths up through that first sector. Zach is Beast in the final corner now. Can he get himself through? The Alfa Romeo driver, no, he can't. He stays on the bottom. So then it's all down to see Luke the Blade in the pit lane. So it's about what Untos and Jack Imac can do. Haas driver first to the line, comes across, he can't get himself through. So he's knocked out then, and it's all down to whether Jack Imac, the reigning champion, can he get himself out in Q1, or will he be knocked out here? He's coming round the final corner, up to the line, flat out from here. Can Jack get himself through? Yes, he can, P7, and that's Luke the Blade knocked out.
Shame for Luke the Blade.
Yeah. So Luke the Blade knocked out along with Untos, Jammy Cash and Zakis Beast, along with Tech Support who crashed on his first run. I'm not sure if Shackleton forgot to brake, or whether his brakes failed.
Really, because I think he was giving his teammate a tow.
Yeah, he was giving his teammate a tow, and then he went straight on to get out of his way. But then he just forgot to brake.
Well, I don't know, because he was trying to get out of the way and then went straight on, and it's very close there to the wall. So, did he have time to stop? No, I don't think he did. Personally. But look how close that top 4 is.
Yeah, and then all the cars behind as well, like D10 downwards. It's not quite as close as it was, but it's still.
Well, D10 was a medium, so.
Yeah, but there was that group of all these cars in the 99, so they've all improved further, but it's still like incredibly close throughout this entire field. Partly due to the shorter nature of the track, but also it's just how competitive it is.
Yeah, it is a very competitive track. And the times are always going to be very close, because tier 2 and tier 1 are closing in on each other, aren't they? But they're getting faster and faster, the tier 2 every week, so you're going to get like people like McJammy getting up there into like the
well, also Jammy Dodge does have
5.
Voting Web coaching him, like,
well,
so
that's going to help.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Just having a professional esports driver coaching you. Like, he's not professional, like, professionally in Formula 1 esports, but still. So
I don't think he was. Because Shackles was always faster than him in F1 esports.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Bits did just join back, I was just wondering. So, we only have 14 partaking in this Q2 session. Shakos getting himself knocked out in Q1 after trying to give his teammate a tow and then forgetting to brake afterwards by the looks of things. He tried to get out of the way, but ended up just getting out of the way too well into the barriers.
A bit too far.
Yeah, went a bit too far off the racing line.
So I think it's gonna be Fuzzle to start.
Yeah, but I think it. No, he just let
Oh,
Plan
no.
go through.
Yeah, L-Plan's
No, that's Jammy Dodge actually. I assumed it'd be
Jammy
Plan because he was first out last session. Fuzzle's just letting a few people through, going for that toe, I think. D10 also gone through. So, well, Shakos is at least a bit less likely to be bowled into at turn 1 if he's at the back.
Yeah.
Normally midfield is the worst place to be at the start, but I think at Monza it's better than being at the front. Like lower midfield is better than the front sometimes. Anyway, Jammy Dodge beginning the first run of this Q2 session, barreling his way into turn 1, avoiding those cars coming out of the pit lane. That being Jack Imac and I think it was a Red Bull with Mr. Business. Gets it through turn 1, and now he's flat out again, heading through that turn 3. Just one completely flat out, not even the trace of a lift. It's a 26.4 in that first sector. Gets the car flicked through that middle that second chicane at the start of the middle sector, and now he's just got Lesmo 2 ahead of him, which is so important for setting up your run down the straight. Gets a bit out of shape on the curb, but he does get back going again. And now he's on the run down into 8, 9 and 10 of the Ascari chicane. Gets it turned into the corner, taking a lot of curb, but not too much. And now it's just one more corner to go for him. That being the final corner of turn 11, the Parabolica. And he gets it turned in for a slightly later apex, gets back on the power again, and now it's just to close the line for the AlphaTauri driver, taking the shortest route he can, and goes to a 19.7 for the fastest time, and then to 19.5 from D10, 20.0 for Fuzzle.
I'd expect Fuzzle to go faster there because he was getting a massive toe on the whole lap.
20.3 for Rocky, and Red Bull of Mr. Business beginning a lap then. Sweatback Flame next to the line, with also with a 20.0. Then the Aston Martin of, I believe, Peter Flatner Stepman also setting a 1 minute 20.0. Stars Among Us goes to the top of the timing sheets with a 19.3. Very solid lap for the Alpine. Then just a few cars at the Williams, and then it's Martinez with a 19.9. El Plan also setting a 19.9. It's a high 19.9. And then it's Peter Flat heading his way into the Parabolica now. And he's just closing up the line as quickly as he can. And across he goes for only a 20.1. Which is only good enough for P9 for the time being. But he could still get himself through into Q2 with that. Although I doubt it. Jack Imac is the next to the line. He's not going for the toe from the AlphaTauri. Possibly had one from his teammate of D10. And he comes round that final corner on the power. And Jack Imac goes into P3 with a 119.7. Just a couple of tens behind his teammate then. Possibly struggling for a bit of form this season. He was really strong last season, but just now in the Ferrari just can't quite repeat that magic that he had in the Aston Martin. He's got the same teammate as well, just not gelling as well. Power GT with a 19.5. Very solid lap. Liam Bewalder, 19.6 on those medium tyres as well. And just a few cars fighting their way into the pit lane. El Plan's going side by side with Sus Among Us through that Ascari chicane. I'm not entirely sure what those two are doing. Ped Flat behind them isn't on the lap either. So I don't have to worry about just blocking the track.
After messing up in his first lap by the looks of things.
Yeah, Mr. Business was doing a non-ERS lap, I assume.
Oh, right.
That's what it appeared to be, at least.
Oh, yeah, he's 3 seconds up, so.
Yeah. So he's just coming his way down towards the Ascari chicane. Oh, no. Through the Ascari chicane into the Parabolica. Now he gets on the power up to the line. Goes the Red Bull driver. And where does he put his car? Improved. Yeah, he gets himself ahead of Rocky into P13. There's definitely more time in that Red Bull from some of the times he set in Q1.
Yeah, 100%.
Peter Flat a tiny bit up. Just under a 1/10 of a second. Gets a bit out of shape through Lesmo 2, but he gets back on the power now. Just going under the bridge now. And to that middle sector split, he's about half a 1/10 up. Which will jump in quite, as it won't jump in any positions. If he finds a tiny bit more time, he could see himself around to 7th from 12th. Just with a 1/10.5 or so. Just chucks it into the Parabolica now. And up to the line comes the Aston Martin driver. And he puts his car into P8. Almost 2/10 gained.
It's a decent lap.
You find a tiny bit of time and gain
I do not think he'll be
so many places. Yeah, like time-wise, he's a few positions ahead of that drop zone, but he's only 4/100ths of a second ahead of it.
I don't think that's safe. I think the cut-off.
No, it's totally not.
19.8, 19.7.
I think it's going to be in the 19.7s, really. Like, if everyone finds like a 1/10 or 2, then they're all in that sort of area.
also determines whether they did it on old or new tires as well.
Yeah, that true as well. Like, they... it just depends on everything. But generally, like the drivers do tend to find quite a fair bit of time. And with how tight the field is, you can find barely any time and just jump up multiple positions. And you can be multiple positions ahead of the drop zone. And just not gain anything. Pedal flat coming into the pit lane. El Plan just beginning a lap as well, but it's Rocky who has actually invalidated his time, so he'll be into the pit lane. So I think, yeah, El Plan is the only driver on a flying lap at this stage. He goes into turn 1. And he just gets back on the power, possibly a bit deep through that first chicane. He gets back on the power again, goes through 3 now. Then he gets on the brakes and turned in. Now back on the power again goes the AlphaTauri. He's starting to find that time in the lap, but he needs to gain quite a bit of time if he wants to be in that sort of position where he is safe. And then El Plan through a middle sector. He's half a second up. We're putting to a 19.4. And then if I had even more time, we could see El Plan displacing Sus among us at the top here. It's like, there really is so much time in a lot of these guys' laps, but they just need to make sure to extract it. And now up the line he goes. And El Plan does go into P2. He's barely behind Sus Among Us. So he goes into second, but by such a tiny margin. But Sus Among Us up to the line now as well. And he puts his car, it's a 2/10 improvement to a 19.1. And next up, I think Liam Bawada, yes he is, he's 4/10 up in the first 2 sectors. And now he goes up to the line, and he goes into P2 with a 4/10 improvement. Just fairly even the gaps around this field, and none of them are particularly large. Fuzzle just on an outlap. Dodge and El Plan also just on outlaps. So Fuzzle, beginning on, will be the only driver on a flying lap at this stage. He just goes into turn 1, gets his car turned in, then goes for that second apex. Back on the power again, goes the Mercedes driver, and then just swings his way through turn 3. It's effectively a straight, really. It's not really a corner at all. It's a 2/10 improvement in that first sector from Fuzzle, which seemed around an 19.8 or around P7. But now through Lesmo 1 into that second corner before the one of many long straights on this circuit around the Temple of Speed. Now he's got DRS open all the way under the bridge, almost 6/10 up for Fuzzle. This will be a very strong lap, and none of these guys, I think, will be safe here at this rate of this track improvement. Getting a bit of a tow from the Alpine of Sus Among Us ahead of him. And Fuzzle coming into that final corner now. Gets the car rotated back on the power, and up to the line he goes. Can he put his car up the field? Yes, he can. It's 8/10 to a 19.2. And Joey dodged around the final corner as well. He's got D10 right behind him. D10 getting up.
line
goes into P5. D10 getting such a massive slipstream into turn 1. I think Jack and Jamie Ormond made contact there. Mr. Business jumping up into P4. Pow GT just beginning his next lap. Pedal flat going very slowly, albeit off the racing line. Martinez just about to begin a lap here.
He's had for first sector. It's just gained 1.
Yeah, he got such a big toe.
Yeah, that was a massive toe. That's going to help him a lot. So in sector 2, he's just going to go and start this.
Yeah.
What straight is this called?
Which one?
The one D10's down at the minute.
D10.
Just before Scary.
I don't think there is a name for the straight. I don't know. It's just
the
the straight.
Is 2 tenths up, coming through to the final straight and then the final corner.
Yeah, just going into that last corner now.
Getting that car rotated very nicely. He does that very nicely, and then to the line. It's going to be a very good lap. That is a very good lap from
P3. That's not bad at
all.
all.
Mr. Business goes P5. Didn't see that.
Yeah, he jumped up a little while ago. But then it's Jamie Dodge just beginning another lap.
How GT could be out here invalidated.
Oh, he did. Yep, how GT could be right on the edge. Although Martinez invalidated again, but I think he has the fuel to go again. The question is whether he's got the time on it. Pedal flat getting a massive toe from the Alfa Romeo. Martinez will not make it to the line. With only a few seconds to go, Pow GT invalidated at Ascari. Pedal flat coming up to the line. This is to put Pow GT down to P9. Pedal flat improves into 8th place. Jack Imac now right on the edge. Stefan 8 tenths up. Sweatback Flame in the final corner as well. The Alpine driver puts his car into P10, which pushes Jack Imac into that bottom 5. Stefan also in the final corner.
Here we go. This is looking like a very good lap. Stefan. To the line, and he goes fastest. What a lap.
To the top of the timing sheet. Rocky is currently down on his time. So I think it's either going to be Pow GT or Jack Imac through. He's half a second up. Is the Ferrari driver. Just need to get his car through. Just need to keep it within the lines. And Jack Imac should have Q3 awaiting him. And he does go to the top of the timing sheets. 9/10 improvement. And Pow GT's lap, which seemed so good, is suddenly putting him out on a route. Like, it was a 19.5, I think.
Yeah, just
yeah,
how
a 1:19.5.
Oh, a lap from Meowsy as well.
Yeah.
Very good lap.
Alright, so it's gonna be
definitely a tier 1 driver.
Yeah, it totally is. So Jack Imac topping Q2 then at the very end.
Hart's just left.
Oh, okay. Followed by Johnny Dodge and Stefan, then Sus Among Us and Liam Bewalder, followed by D10, Fuzzle, Mr. Business, L Plan, and Petaflat. And then it's Pow GT, Sweatback Flame, Rocky, and Martinez.
Pow GT lost out by 20,000.
That is, like, gaps like that, it's just at the tiniest of fractions of a second.
It's very close.
Now on to Q3 we go. So who's going to be the first one out onto the circuit? We've got no one going yet at this stage. There is that full 12-minute session. We've got Fuzzle on his way out, as is Sus Among Us at D10, and Mr. Business 2. I think the first one is going to be the Alpine of Sus Among Us, and indeed he does go out into the pit lane. Then he's followed by L Plan. So, Sus Among Us is the first one on the track. And the Alpine driver will lead them away for their outlaps. And he'll be followed by El Plan, I believe that is. Indeed it is. And then the AlphaTauri has Fuzzle behind him. And then D10 as well. But it's Sus Among Us, the first driver on the circuit, just taking them through Lesmo 1 and 2 at the moment. So,
What's going on today? 2 people have left.
What?
What is going on today? 2 people have left the server.
So, Sus Among Us going into that final hairpin now. Sus Among Us going into that final corner and accelerating away down the pit straight in towards turn 1. And off goes the Alpine driver, getting up to speed of around 350 kilometers an hour. He gets on the brakes and then turns in for the first corner. Back round again for that second apex. A bit out of shape on the traction, but he keeps it going. And now into turn 3. And now he's flat out still. Gets on the brakes and turned in. Gets through that second part of the corner as well, and he's back on the power again, heading into 6 and 7 of the Lesmos. And now he cuts it through 7, back on the throttle again, just not long to go now for Sus Among Us. Just coming to the end of the middle sector. It's mainly just a Scary left to nail. He takes quite a lot of curb, but not too much. Getting very close to the limits, and then a bit of a slide through that final part of the Ascari chicane. But it's all just down to the final corner of Parabolica now. For Sus Among Us gets back on the power, and round he goes. Keeps it in a straight line. And up to the line goes Sus Among Us. Goes to the top with a 19.2 for the first round. Fuzzle can only imagine 19.6. El Plan invalidating, I believe. D10 into second. Jeremy Dodge only able to get 4th, which becomes 5th. Because Mr. Business goes into P3 with a 1 minute 19.4. Then next it's Stefan in that final corner. And he goes fast with an 18.9. And Pedaflat going round. That's at the Ascari chicane, just on the exit. Quite likely just a tiny bit too much curb for the Aston Martin driver. Ended up with him facing the wrong way. Liam Walden now coming around that Ascari chicane now. This time he keeps it in a straight line. He just comes into the last corner now. Just gets it stopped and round back on the power. And now he's just gotta break the line. And Liam Bewalder puts his car into a 19.0. Barely losing out to Stefan. Less than 10th. Jack IMAX invalidated on his time. El Plan's backed off. And I think Pedflat's just starting another one. Jack IMAX going into turn 1 as well. Stefan just around the final corner. Yeah, I don't think anyone's on a push-up unless Jack's going for one here. I mean, there's 26.9 in the first sector. It's not bad for Jack, but I don't think it's gonna get him to the top. Just go through those first few corners. Oh, he got a bit out of shape. Just wide onto the curb. And I don't think we're going to see any more action for these first runs for a while.
I'm back.
Just not much going on. Just got Susmaros on an outlap at this stage. So it's Susmaros just going around the final corner now on the power, and off he goes to begin what is his first lap of this Q3, or second run of this Q3 session, should I say. We've just got a few other cars going out onto the track again for their second runs.
I think it's Sus on that right now.
Yeah, Sus is just starting one. See, he's chucking the car into. He's going around 3.
So Sus for his sector 1. He's got the pace to put his car.
2th improvement, or 10th and a half. That would get him ahead of Liam for a time being.
But you've got to remember the rest of the track is where you can find it, especially through corners like these.
Yeah.
Taking that curb very nicely, going to try and get a good exit out of here down the straight. Oh, bit of a wobble there, but he's finally kept going very nicely. So in sector 2, it's going to be a 89 factor. He's lost time in sector 2. That's not very good, but for a Ascari.
Oh, he's back. He's backed off after that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Got a bit out of shape for Ascari.
Yep. So who's next? So Mr. Business to start his penultimate lap. So we'll have to see what he can do in sector 1. He's going to have to take that curve very nicely in turn 1. Oh, he's got that perfect, Mr. Business. Got that very nicely indeed. So just going around to the end of sector 1. It's probably, is it the shortest sector? Or is it sector 3?
In terms of lap time, it's the shortest sector, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Mr. Business just going through right hander. So now he took that very nicely there, Mr. Business, and now next straight, just gonna use his ERS deploy to gain him that bit more time. There's another car in front, so
it's just over a 10th for Mr. Business in that first 2 sectors. So
no time.
Yeah, he's got to find quite a lot more time if he wants to get his car into that top 4 and to stay there, because the track typically has been rubbering in, although possibly it's already reached max performance.
Here we go.
As here comes Mr. Business up the line. It's 3.5 tenths in the end. Probably made a mistake in that final sector, puts him into P3. Sus Among Us just coming out onto the track.
D10 starting his lap. 45 up in sector.
Jeremy Dodge invalidated and backed off, so he's just starting again.
Oh, is D10 starting, or is he just backing off? I think he's backing.
Yeah, he's backed off a run. Jack's also on an out lap. If I was just beginning a lap, we've got. So there's Petafat who's backed off here. So Jamie Dodge is going for it. Yeah, I think Jamie Dodge and Fuzzle are the only two on laps at this stage. So 3.5 tenths is Jamie Dodge through those first sectors. He's going to chuck it into Lesmo 2. He gets a bit out of shape. He gets a bit of a slipstream from Sus Among Us on his outlap. And now he comes all the way down in towards the Ascari chicane. He's 8 tenths up in the first couple of sectors. That is sort of provisional pole position time at this stage. Sort of very good lap so far from Jamie Dodge. Going into that final hairpin now. Just off Parabolica.
D10 and Jack Arnott working together here, just taking turns of toe.
They're just going for it. Jamie Dodge up to the line now. And he does go faster than 18.7.
Very good lap.
Yeah, that's a very good lap from him. Fuzzle next to the line. Sus Among Us has managed to get round in time to just start a lap. Or barely, just by a few seconds. Fuzzle improves, but only good enough for P5. Next up is L Plan round that final corner. And he goes into P6 with a 119.1. That's the two Ferrari counts. D10 is not on a lap. He backed off to give his teammate a tow. So
the final.
Jack doesn't have a time yet. So this will be his only lap in Q3. And he makes good use of it going onto the front row.
Stefan is invalidated.
Oh, it's Liam Walder in that final hairpin now.
Just 3 tenths up in that first sector.
Here comes Liam round that final corner now. Goes up to the line. And he goes to provisional pole, just barely snatching it away. And then next up is Mr. Business round the final corner. And he can't improve, just barely. Petter flat round the final corner. And he finds time, but he can't get off the bottom, so he'll be starting 10th.
The final corner now. Sus Among Us is going to go to the line. He is the one who can snatch us off Liam Bewilder. Sus Among Us to the line. What's it going to be?
Only P3. It's still a very good lap. It's only good enough for P3. Fuzzle's not going.
No. That's a very good lap from McJammy there.
Yeah, it's really... It's got so much pace around Monza.
I'm scared if it's in tier 2.
I want to say you've already had it this season, but probably not. So it's Liam Walder taking pole position from Jamie Dodge and Sus Among Us, and then Jack Imac in P4. So Liam Walder top just barely by 1/100th of a second to Jamie Dodge, and then Sus Among Us about half a tenth behind, followed by Jack Imac, Stefan, Mr. Business, Fuzzle, L Plan, D10, and Petterflat.
I love L Plan going, let's go now. I'm going to take his shit. Brilliant. Cheers, mate. Right, I'm going to take a quick break and go and get some water, so I will be back in a minute.
I should be getting underway before too long. Just waiting until we can get underway. Should be starting soon, or at least at some point in the foreseeable future.
I'm back. So
We should be getting underway before too long. So should just be a matter of a few seconds until we start. And we've got just a few seconds. Right, we are going now. Right, formation lap is getting underway now. And Liam Warder does lead them off then. So, tyres wise then, is mostly mediums favoured across the field. Although it is hard for Stefan. And then Power GT, Swearback Flame, Rocky, Martinez, Shackles, and Luke the Blade have all gone with the soft compound. Untos choosing the hards. Then Jamie Cash and Zakis Beast with the mediums. And tech support at the back going slightly longer with the hards. He'll most likely be a one-stop, I assume. I assume it'll be a one-stop, assuming we don't get any safety cars in the way of things. But you never quite can tell. At any track, there's always a chance. So, just getting their way to park up on their grid spots, and then we shall be underway for the Italian Grand Prix. They're all just parking themselves up on the grid spot. Liam Bewalder on pole position with Jamie Dodge alongside him. Sus Among Us behind them, missing his grid spot. So as we wait for the last car of tech support, just pulling his way up onto the grid.
So Sus Among Us is just Wolfwood.
Yeah, Sus just missed his grid spot. As tech support parks up, and we are about to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix to 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go, and it seems to have been a pretty good start from Liam Walder. Oh, Joe Dodds not quite able to get alongside. It's been a brilliant start for Jack Imac there, alongside of the front row here into turn 1. They're going to be side by side. They've just about managed to keep it clean throughout the field by the looks of things. And Jack Imac does get himself from 4th into 2nd. And it's all seemed to be quite clean. Further back, Power GT and D10 going to be side by side. Round turn 3. The Williams driver on the outside going to have his gut on the inside for turn 4. As Fuzzle goes past Mr. Bitters as well. There's a bit of contact between Power GT and the cars around him. And that invites Sweatback Flame to go through. Shakos down in P12. There's a spin for Mr. Business in the gravel. He's lost his front wing. Would have been some contact then. Shakos get himself past Power GT now. Up into 11th from 15th already. But the Water is still out front. He's got Jack Omac just behind him though. Jamie does not have the ready to start someone up in the background there by the looks of things. Although I don't see anyone tumbling down the order. So it's all calm at this stage. There's moved to the inside from Pedflat on D10, but he just has to back out of it before the corner. And here comes Sweatback Flame as well. And Martinez going past Power GT and Shackles out at the same time into that final corner. And here comes Power GT as well. Back on the house driver, going to pull to the inside of the Alfa Romeo as well. It switches to the outside. It's almost 3 wide into turn 1. Power GT goes right round the outside. But he just has to back out, gets squeezed onto the curb a tiny bit. Jamie Cash also getting himself ahead. Now Shakos has gone from 11th all the way back down to 14th. And doesn't look the blade side by side as well. But Limpwater still managing to hold on for the time being. As soon as DRS gets enabled, then we probably will start to see Jack Imac closing into Stefan. Has spun around and his Albert under Lesmos. He's spun into the wall there. That's a safety car. The Aston Martin has spun into the wall.
Oh, that's a shame for Stefan. Stefan was looking very, very promising today, and it's a shame for the driver.
Yeah. White possibly just got onto the curb, spun himself round. So, Limpwater still out front from Jack Imac and Jamie Dodge. And thereby by Martinez in the pit lane. Didn't go early off those soft tyres. Shackles also coming in. So is his teammate who's going to have to be held up there. Luke the Blade also into the pit lane.
So Liam is going to lead at the safety car restart. Jack Imac getting himself up by 2 places.
Changing positions there. Power GT and Jamie Cash.
Start from Jamie Cash.
Yeah, he's been cutting his way through that field then. Poor start was Mr. Business with that spin into the gravel. Shakos down 1. And they're all talking, apparently the tyre deg on like the soft tyres is quite bad from what they're saying. But, I mean, just a safety car period for all the drivers to catch their breath again after quite a hectic start. Yeah, apparently the softs are quite poor. It's why quite a lot of these drivers have got off of them, and now all of those drivers that have started on the softs, pitched onto the mediums, they can do another set of mediums to the end if they wanted to. Which is an advantage they'll have over the the drivers that start on the mediums. There's just Liam Water keeping himself just in the train, just while we wait for the safety car to come in, which will most likely be at the end of this lap, I'd assume. Why has it gone to broadcast mode?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh dear. Yeah, I think Liam left it on.
Liam.
Oh dear.
Liam.
Well,
Liam.
it speeds it up a bit, hopefully.
Mine too slowly.
Usually it cuts towards the end of the lap.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, there we go.
Liam. Excuse my language.
Is that around the final corner now? Are they gonna come in or not?
I don't know.
I think they're going. No, they're going green now.
What?
Are they not? No, they're just speeding up. What is
going on here?
Liam left broadcast mode.
No. Oh,
I think safety car will be in this lap. It should be. Wait, what happened with the order? Liam's dropped.
Huh?
Restart. Liam's dropped to 19th. Liam's dropped to last. Liam's dropped to last.
It's not my screen, he's top.
No, on my screen, Jack Imac leads from Jammy Dodge and Sus Among Us. Oh, I'm now on board with Mr. Business, but I'm actually on board with Liam. Okay, safety car in this lap. Is the safety car actually in this lap? Why am I on board with Liam?
I have not a clue. Because Liam's still first on my screen.
He's 19th on my screen.
He's still first. I don't know.
I mean, it looks like he's controlling the restart at least.
Yeah,
As we go back to green flag running, Liam Walder leads them away then from Jack Imac. Okay, it has all sorted itself out. Jack Imac's got a brilliant restart though. Pulls to the outside of the McLaren driver before even getting to turn 1. And I think he's jumped himself ahead. Liam's going to try and fight on the brakes, but it is Jack Imac that pulls himself through into the race lead. Although Liam's going to not let him go that easily. He's still on the outside. And he does squeeze himself back ahead. Although Jack's going to tuck back into the safety ring. There's a yellow flag. That's Shackles off. Shackles round at turn 1. Oh, that's turn 2 even. Jack Imac, yeah, he's a bit too far back to go for a move. Fuzzle and Pedalback can be side by side. Also ahead of them, L Plan and Sus Among Us. But Fuzzle pulled to the inside of the Aston Martin driver. L Plan also on the inside of the Alpine. Sus Among Us just about stays ahead. Fuzzle gets himself ahead of Pedal Flat, and now D10's on the inside. There's a bit of contact between the two of them. I invite Sweatback Flame to go through. Jeremy Cash and Power GT, the two Williams cars, are sharing the same piece of tarmac. Jeremy Cash has to back out because he's got Pedal Flat going slowly ahead of him. Just on board with the Williams. There's so many cars in this span of such little space. Jeremy Cash gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as Sweatback Flame goes wide there at the Ascari chicane. There's a bit of contact between Jeremy Cash and Pedal Flat. He's running such low wings. It's that Williams car. He's just got so much straight line speed. But at the front, Liam Walder still with the race lead. Retake. He sets the fastest lap of the race. Jack Imac closing in. He's a bit too far back though, and he can't make any moves. Rocky gets past Martinez into turn 1, and there's Jamie Cash on the inside of Pedal Flat. There's a bit of contact between the two of them. Pedal Flat on the outside now, gets himself back in front. There's a yellow flag. That's Mr. Business. Spun around again. Yeah. Power GT not close enough to go for a move. Then it's Jeremy Cash on the outside of Martinez. There's contact between the two of them. Jeremy Cash has to go over the curb, and that invites tech support to go through on him as well. But he's not going to let that one slide. Goes for a very late move into Lesmo 1. Goes wide. And now he's got Rocket in the inside, but there's contact, and that's the McLaren driver spun round at the second Lesmo. After contact with the Williams, he's been spun round. Now but now at the front, Jack Imac's closing back in to Liam Walder, possibly close enough to go for a move into turn 1. It's about 2.5 tenths back so far. And he goes a bit wide, but he keeps it within the white line for the time being. Jack Imac closing in with the slipstream. And he just fastest laps all across the board down to Sus Among Us there with 22.6. It's Jack Imac close enough to go for a move. He's not quite, but with DRS enabled now. There's a yellow flag, and that's Martinez out on the straight. There's a massive crash, and that's another safety car on lap 8.
Oh god, here we go. We have broadcast again. Brilliant.
I think the drivers are incredibly lucky that ghosting's on. If it wasn't, that would have been a huge crash.
Yeah.
Wow. And already it was a massive impact. He's lucky more cars aren't involved in it.
Yeah, it was a big one.
Contact with Petaflat, I believe.
That's a montage. Let's go.
Yeah, so under the safety car, will we see some of the leaders going for a slightly earlier stop? I
Maybe
mean,
they have time to do that.
Power GT and Sweatback Flame probably should, off those soft tyres, if the deg is as bad as what they're saying.
The thing is with this safety car thing,
Yeah, it usually
the
gives you
broadcast,
like...
it's that it can pit you sometimes when you don't want to be pitted.
Yeah.
So it is a huge problem for some of the drivers.
Yeah.
But Liam's going to come into the pits anyway, going to be followed. I think every driver's going to really come into.
Yeah, they're all coming in. Is
Cool,
anyone
this
going to
is
try
gonna
any
be
pit lane overtakes?
Oh, they are.
Oh, they really are.
Unitas.
Tech support tried to go for one. Unitas stays out, and he does take the lead.
So does Shakos.
Yeah,
He's
Shackle's
too-
already pitting though, to be fair. So basically the entire field, besides the two Haas cars who already pitted, have come into the pit lane. Mr. Business having to change a front wing there. It's having a time penalty by those things. So Urntos now leads from Shakos. In order in third. So we await. Sweatback Flame's gone on to another set of softs. He was saying the softs were bad, but he's gone on to more of them. That's an interesting strategy call, to say the least.
So, oh yeah, split back on the store.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why he's gone back onto another set. How GT's gone with the mediums, so he started on the softs. Textbook gone with the mediums, but he started on the hards. I think the broadcast mode takes over when everyone catches the train. How GT says the game never gave him a chance to switch onto the hards. That sounds like an enjoyable experience. I don't know. There we go.
Oh, there
Now.
we go.
Alright, now we sit behind the broadcast mode for a bit. Hopefully this
Swear
will
to
restart.
God, there's another
No,
lap.
it won't be. Right, this should be the restart now. We should be told safety car in at some point. We're already on lap 11, yeah. It's just quite a way through the game. It's put me on board with Liam again.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I've got control of my game again. Right. Yeah, that's.
They don't have enough time.
That is an incredibly slow restart from Unitos. That's too slow. he'll get a
Yeah,
penalty
but
for
to be
that.
fair, he doesn't really get time to.
True, but he's still going 30.
True.
Like 30 kilometers. Alright, it's... So, it's taking an incredibly slow restart here. Ahead of his teammate, but he does bolt now. And he has got away quite cleanly ahead of Shakos and Liam Water behind. But Liam is gaining on him. Rocky pulling into the pit lane. But, yeah, no moves in so far. That is sudden Marcus going straight over the corner.
Ooh.
What's going on there with the Alpine? He just completely carved the corner. That spun Liam Water. That's taken Liam Water down in position behind Jack Imac. And now, Jamie dodges on the back of the McLaren driver. Is he going to go to the outside? No, he can't quite make the move. No other moves through the rest of the field. I think Zach's Beast has a bit of wing damage. There's a big dive there from Mr. Business. Pushes the Alfa Romeo off the track. And now through goes Power GT as well. Round the outside. Look, the Blade is also looking to go past as well. There's still Untos out front for Jackals, but his teammate is really looking to get a move on here. He wants to get past his other Haas, but I don't think he quite has the straight line speed. But he does pull ahead into that final corner of the Parabolica. Untos doesn't fight it, and Shackles moves back up into the race lead. Having started 15, being spun to the back at the start, and he retakes the race lead now. Although his tyres are 6 laps older than those of the cars around him. But that being said, Jack Imac is quite the way behind, as is Liam Walder. So Shackles does have a genuine chance of coming away with a victory here. Although they probably will have to come in again, as tech support is also in. I'm still trying to work out what happened to Sutton Miles where he went completely over the corner. Possibly a bit of contact. There's a yellow flag. That's Fuzzle gone off at turn 4, that is. At the second chicane.
Rejoin on
But Jack Imac is on the back of Unitos now. Is he gonna go for a move? Yes, he is. He pulled the inside into the Ascari chicane. There's nothing the Haas car can do about that. And Jack Imac moves up into second place. Now to chase after Shackles for the race lead.
He came with a 3-second time penalty. That's on the.
At 3-second time penalty, there were multiple warnings as he tried to close down Jamie Dodge on the hard tyres. Liam Walder now also on the back of the house car. He's going to look to go for a move probably before turn 1. See, yeah, he pulled to the outside long before the corner. And that is Liam Walder up into 3rd place. Who just can't fight that one again. Although, is he going to go for a late braking move? He thinks about it. But he just has to back out of that one. And that's Deaton sitting behind him as well. So I think the race is just beginning to settle down a tiny bit. Although Jack is now closing in to Shackles. He's got it within a second. And Shackles on quite a bit older tyres. 6 laps older. And on a softer compound. He's going to feel that tyre wear a lot more than the Ferrari of Jack. And Jack does have the DRS this time around to close in. He's not going to be close enough to go for a move into that Ascari chicane. Although possibilities will be into that first corner. Swearback Flame round the outside of Plan into turn 1. And he gets the move done. Power GT gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Just going being a bit too lenient on the curbs. And Jack Imac is now right on the back of Shackles here. He's going to close in. He's going to get the DRS. And I don't think Shackles will be able to do much about that one. With the DRS, he pulled the inside. Shackles doesn't even bother to defend it. And through goes Jack Imac into the race lead on lap 15 of 27. Jamie Dodge goes for the move on Untos, and that encourages D10 to try and go around the outside. He gets blocked off by the Haas car, and he can't make any moves.
Ooh! massive.
Oh, and yeah, that's Rocky out at the
that's
final
gonna be a
corner.
good one. Is it going to be another safety car?
I don't think it is at this stage. Step back Flame gets himself ahead of Unitos there into Lesmo 1. Unitos started to drop like a stone with those worn tyres.
And there's another one.
Shackles is only hanging on to because of that DRS to Jack Imac. That's the only reason he's hanging on ahead of Liam Wilder at this stage. He goes really wide, out of shape, through the Ascari chicane. He just pulls away that tiny bit down the straight, and he'll have the DRS on Jack into turn 1. And I think he'll just about manage to stay ahead, despite however much better traction. Shackles gets off the corner. Look at that. Liam does actually pull alongside and ahead long before the DRS is even activated. And that is Liam up into second place here. And he may be able to go for the move on Jack Imac, although he is just that tiny bit too far back. It looked like he was going to try and go for it. But he's just way too far back to be able to go for anything.
Oh, Christ! That's a really late move there from Business.
Just about kept it going. Here goes Power GT, gonna go to the inside. Is he going to the outside? He goes to the outside of his teammate. There's very little room. Textbook retires in the pit lane, I believe. Yes, he does. There's very little room. There's Kondo him into business. And he's drifting again for not the first time in this race. He almost ends up facing the wrong way. Power GT just can't quite get past his teammate. He tried around the outside. He just wasn't left quite enough space to be able to go for the move. It was well defended there by Jamie Cash. And Liam Walder should get past Shackles this time around. And this time it will be for good. But he's also got Jamie Dodge on the back of him. So he can't be too careful. There is quite the DRS train starting to form. As Liam pulls ahead of Shackles miles before the corner. Jamie Dodge almost looking at a move this time around. As Southern Morris gets past Luke the Blade, Power GT and Jamie Cash going to be side by side yet again. Jamie Cash forced to the outside. Left very little space, but he keeps his nose in. There's a bit of contact between the two Williams cars. This is not helping either of them. Mr. Business now on the outside. Is he going to make it 3 wide? No, he can't, because Jamie Cash loses that advantage to his teammate. The two Williams cars fighting so hard. This is holding up both of them. Jamie Cash with a very late dive to the inside. There's contact between the two of them. Power GT trying to leave his teammate as little space as he has to just try and encourage him to back out. Mr. Business goes for the move now on Jamie Cash, who drops down to 12th. And now Mr. Business with the DRS is going to go right back past Power GT. And possibly so is Jamie Cash as well. He does pull to the outside and gets himself back into that place. But no, it's just netcoding. It's fine. I thought that was contact between the two of them. It was just lag.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Jamie Cash isn't 10 miles off into the runoff area. Power GT closing back into the back of the Williams car. A sweepback Flame comes into the pit lane.
Yeah,
Jamie Cash and Power GT, there's contact between the two Williams cars, and they're both off this beat. That was a horrible voice crack. It's been coming for so long, they've been battling so hard, and finally, they've both crashed each other out. But Power GT is just about going still.
That was... I don't know whose fault that was on, but...
That was the worst voice crack imaginable. No, that was so awful. They're both off! And Jamie Cash was racing him so hard, especially for your teammate. You don't defend that hard against your teammate. But he tried to keep himself ahead, and ultimately, it's just, you could see that coming from so far off. From just they've been touching, like they've just been banging wheels the entire race, and just one too many, and took them both into a barrier.
But only one can continue.
That won't go down well in the back at the Williams factory. I don't think Jamie Cash will be doing another reserve outing for Williams after that one.
I think he's been banned from Williams.
Yeah, he's going to be fired. James Vowell's going to fire him. Will we see anyone in the pit lane? And it's looking like Jack Imac is on his way in. So the leaders do come in after the safety car. And that is a lifeline for Shakos.
That has worked really well for Shakos there.
He can go for another set of mediums to the end.
He's got the pace to get himself up there.
And D10 might have been held a bit there. Just the possibilities of double stacks and cars being held. Sus Among Us stays out. Jack Imac goes into the race lead. Jeremy Dodge goes to the mediums, while everyone else has gone softs. So the front four have stayed the same, besides the fact that they now have Shakos in front of them. Staying out there is Sweatback Flame, who jumps himself up the order, having only just pitted. Now gets himself into 6th place. D10 falling down to 9th, having been held in his pit stop. So basically everyone has come into the pit lane. So it's going to be a spicy end to the race. Sus Among Us with the track position, which won't last. And then we'll have to see just how the rest of the field does.
This has worked wonders for Saka's Beast as well.
So Sus Among Us, the only car to stay out.
Have a montage.
Yeah, eventually at least. So, Sus Among Us, he's the only car that's braved it out on the circuit.
Yeah.
As everyone else is on brand new tyres. All 0 or 1 laps old. And then they're all going to be up against Sus Among Us on hard tyres that they've been on for the last 11 laps.
Yeah.
So I think Zacchaeus Beast will catch up eventually and then we'll go to a restart. Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Oh yes, also has that 5-second penalty as well that he got for cutting turn 1. So it is definitely Jack Imac in the net race lead at this point.
So we're gonna have to restart now.
Yeah. It will be shortly. Hopefully we have a slightly higher paced restart then. If I could get my control back, that would be nice. But it's okay, that's just a bug. Jamie Dodge isn't lost. It's the same bug we had before.
I don't know what's wrong with yours.
I don't know. Right, so we've got the restart up ahead.
Yep.
just waiting for Sus Among Us to bolt it. He's looking like it could be any time. He's not going quite yet. He goes now, and Jack Imac has really caught Sus Among Us out here. He's right on the back of the Alpine, alongside before turn 1.
Oh,
and I think into turn 1 is going to be the perfect restart for Jack Imac. And it's long before turn 1. He takes the race lead away from Sus Among Us. There's a car spun round. That's Jeremy Dodge facing the wrong way at turn 1. There's after contact with some other cars. Liam Walden now goes through on Sus Among Us into third place. There's a massive crash in the midfield. There's cars off everywhere, and there's a virtual safety car deployed. That's Petterflat off. That's Jeremy Dodge off again. I think Sweatback Flame and Power GT got involved in that. And there's a load of time penalties across the field for ignoring yellow flags. So that's Unitas and Fuzzle both with 5-second penalties for that. Depending on the incident, they may be able to get that removed post-race if they got it for passing cars that were stopped at the side of the track having spun.
It's a flat with no front wing.
Yeah, like, Pet Flat, no front wing, Jammy Dodge, no front wing. It's such a shame because he got it on the front row. It's been upgraded to a full safety car.
Oh, brilliant.
So that will take us right up to the end of the race. It'll be a 1 or 2 lap shootout of everyone pretty much on fresh tyres.
Great. It's going to be fun.
I think it'll take us up to like lap 25 or 26 before it goes in.
There'll be a 2-lap shootout.
Yeah. No one coming in, understandably. They've all got fresh tyres.
Petterflat will have to come in.
Yeah, Petflat and Jammy Dodge will be coming in. Al Plan's in. Zakis Beast also. So did Mr. Business. So some of these guys in the lower midfield coming into the pit lane.
Sus should be going in personally, I think.
Yeah, but he also has that.
Rid of the penalty.
Oh yeah, that's true. But then he might be trying to get the penalty removed, in which case he doesn't want to pit. And it just depends.
It's true.
So El Plan, Zakis Beast, Mr. Business, Power GT, Jammy Dodge, Sweatback Flame, and Petterflat. All of them came in.
Oh, it's a Sweatback, really?
Yes. Yeah, I don't think people are very happy with how this race has gone. This has been one of the most chaotic races. And then with the broadcast safety cars doesn't help either.
Because you're missing loads of laps of racing because...
Yeah, it takes longer than it should to come in. And then the slow restarts haven't helped. We've had 2 very slow restarts, which also really haven't helped.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of these drivers, it's just a race to forget.
It's going to be really chaotic into turn 1.
Yeah, there was cars, and then into turn, like round 3 towards 4, there was cars off completely everywhere. Like, there was cars at all sides of the track. Like, off it, on it, spinning across it. Like, if we didn't have ghosting on, we would have had about 3 red flags this race. So Jammy Dodge is catching up. We should go to, broadcast mode now.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's not quite ideal, but we got to work with what we got.
Oh, Liam.
Well, at least it means we don't have to wait for ages during the safety car period.
That's true. Oh, going away now.
Lap 24, so there'll be 3 lap shootout to decide the race.
Unless it's
Right.
Yep, we're going.
Will you give
Oh,
me...
I can't move my thing down.
Oh, there we go. Now I can. So, safety car into the pit lane now. They're all on relatively old softs now. And the tyre wear under the broadcast mode could be worse than it is normally. I'm not entirely sure. But Jack Imac leads them away, goes quite quickly. It's a fast restart from Jack, and that's caught Sus among us completely napping. But it's not caught Liam Water out, so Liam is still gaining on the Ferrari driver. He pulls to the inside. They're going to be side by side into that first corner, and it is Liam who gets himself ahead. He goes a bit too deep. Jack going for the switchback to get the better run, although he doesn't quite have the traction required to go for that move into turn 4. He's on the back of the McLaren, but I think Liam's just going to pull away. It's not going to be DRS until the very end, so we're not going to see DRS into turn 1 at all. Sus Among Us dropping down these positions, as you'd expect for a driver on tyres of that age. But Jack is staying with Liam, but he's not looking like he's likely to make a move. Although Liam is burning through his ERS a lot quicker than the Ferrari driver. Liam's got about half the ERS that Jack Imac does. The change of positions in the back as Shakos going for moves. He's got his teammate up ahead of him as well. Shakos getting himself into 6th place. That will become possibly a podium on the card for Shakos here. So he pulls to the outside of his teammate. Will Untos led him through. He's got that time penalty as well. But Jack Imac on the back of Liam Buwalder. This is probably his best chance. Shakos losing back out to Fuzzle there. But Jack down the straight, Liam, neither of them using any ERS here. Jack's in the slipstream though. He's going to pull to the inside line. And just like on the previous lap, they're going to be wheel to wheel. There's contact between the two of them. Jack and Mate, they've both gone very deep into the corner. Somehow they've both kept it on the race, like on the racetrack. I thought for sure Jack Imac was going to end up facing the wrong way. They made contact on the straight as Jack Imac tried to tuck him behind. But they're still going here. And D10 is just using this to close in. And there's this massive battle behind him as well. Shakos dropped all the way down to 7th.
Shakos struggling now. Well, that's definitely going to be...
That's Sus Among Us out. I think he disconnected. I think it was a disconnect retirement, which is such an annoying feature on this game. Or possibly it's a bug, I'm not entirely sure. But now Jack Imac is still on the back of Liam Buwalder going on to the final lap. He's got about double the ERS that the McLaren has. It's going to be just one lap to decide the race here. Is he going to go for a move into turn 1? He doesn't. He's going to wait into the Parabolica. He's not going to have DRS until that one straight into the Ascari chicane. But this is where the main moves are likely to happen. He's closing in. He's dumping all that battery. Both of them dumping their battery. Jack pulls to the outside. They're going to be side by side into turn 1 again. The pair of them, it's the 3rd lap in a row we've seen them side by side. And this time Jack Imac gets himself ahead. And on the traction, I think he's going to be able to keep that. He keeps his foot in. And on the final lap, Jack Imac does take the race lead away from Liam Buwalder. And I think that's going to be how it stays. He's got 30% more battery than his McLaren rival. Although unless Liam can get back ahead with the DRS, El Plan currently in a podium position here in P5, but we're the 2 drivers ahead of him, both having time penalties. There's a yellow flag again. That's another car off. I think it might have been the Alfa Romeo. But even with the DRS, Liam can't get close enough. So just into the Ascari chicane. Jack's really just got to keep it in a straight line from here. Just got to keep it going. Don't go wide. He gets a bit out of shape on the Ascari chicane. But I think it's just about enough for him. So he's making sure Liam can't get nearly enough of a toe that he needs. And around the final corner. It's been a dramatic last few laps. But it is going to be Jack Imac across the line that wins the Italian Grand Prix. Liam comes on P2. D10 3rd on the road, but it's going to be El Plan. Shakos recovers to P4. D10 gets 5th. Luke the Blade 6th. I think Jamie Dodge got 7th. Those last 3 laps. Wow. Like, I don't even know what just happened. like Jamie Dodge could have been challenging for the win as well. Then he got just spun around. Well, Jack Imac is victorious then in Monza by only half a second to Liam Walder, who then finished 4 ahead of our plan. And then it's followed by Shakos, D10, Luke the Blade, Jamie Dodge, Sweatback Flame, Fuzzle coming on P9, then Zacchus Beast, and then just outside the points will be Mr. Business, Power GT, Petaflat, and Unitos. Then not finishing with Sus Among Us, Jamie Catch, Tech Sport, Rocky Martinez, and Stefan.
Many pits happened this race. It was a very eventful one, and
eventful is an understatement.
Well, that's the only word I can use to describe it this time.
Yeah.
My dictionary does not go that far.
My driver for the day's got to go to Shakos.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, like, it's got to be Shakos there.
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on, let me have a look.
Facing
the
facing the wrong way on lap
Shakos,
1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be Shakos.
I agree. Although Luke the Blade is up there with a big shout.
Same with Jack and Liam as well. Both of them are doing really well. Anyway, that being said, that was the Italian Grand Prix. Thank you to everyone watching the stream, and we will see you next week for Tier 2 around Qatar. Until then, good night.